for this long or whatever. I am expecting it. So if I start getting emails every day, there's two things I can do. Get annoyed and I'm like, okay, never mind, unsubscribe. But I'm not going to report you as spam because you told me. I know what I signed up to. Or because I know you're sending me emails every day and I'm kind of interested, but only when I think I have the time to kind of read them all. I'll just ignore them until it's time for me to come back, and I'll put your name in my search bar in my Gmail account, and I'll just go quickly through the emails, see if there's anything that pops out. That's fine. Those tabs made it very easy for people to switch their expectations. I go to my inbox, I want the emails that I'm going to reply back, or I need to download or whatever. I go to promotions tab. This is where people are promoting things. And people freak out because their emails, like, it's not promotional. I'm like, are you promoting a webinar, yourself, your business, your product? Promotion is something that, would probably not work with a mom, like, look at this. She'd be like, oh, that's very nice. But to everybody else, it's a prospective customer. If the whole point is to talk about something, your book, or how great you are in order to make a sale, it's a promotional email. And the way that these tabs work is that they decide based on how I use the email. So I might get the email in the promotions tab because that's how I act with all similar brands or brands in general that way. And in your case, it might not happen that way because there's certain types of industries that you do want in your inbox. On top of the fact that I can just take an email and drag it. And then I just told Google from now on, I want the Mappdom emails to go in my inbox. You can't control that. You cannot go to like MappMail and say like, well, why aren't you? No. MappMail has no control over this. It's Google based on what Yanatori does and what you do and what the other person does. It's not like the whole brand emails goes to the promotions tab. I mean, in some cases, if you're selling something, it's gonna go there because that's what it is. But if I like certain emails, Google cares about what I want to do. And then the other one that, has happened a couple of times, but everybody's gonna have to stop complaining about it, is the authentication, the SPF, the DKIM, and DMARC. They all came one after the other. SPF is like 20 years old or something. DKIM or SPF is like 20 years old. Then it's like 10, like DMARC is 10 years old. DMARC has been around for 10 years. It was annoying and complicated. We didn't really know what it was going to do and how it was going to work and how to implement it. But it's 10 years later, guys. Like, do it. I know it sounds like just like random letters that I'm saying, but these are just like it's called authentication. It proves that you are the sender. Okay, that's like what it is in the big thing, and that is one of the things that Google and Yahoo announced. So what they've announced is very simple.
What are those things, and who can do it? Yeah. And okay, so this is what I'm thinking. A normal small business owner, like I said, I have access to people like you and all these other people who have told me that this thing is coming, but I don't think. Okay, sweetie, I'm in your meeting right now. Remember, you're not supposed to come back until the big hand gets to the 12th. Bye. So let's say I just have a small business and I'm collecting emails, right? And then I'm sending out emails. I have an actual like domain email and it's starting to grow. Let's say I have 100 people and then 200 and 500. I don't have an email marketing specialist. How would I even know that this is happening? And yes, Jordan is gorgeous. Yeah. And if I don't know about it, how is that going to, so let me write these down because I know I ask like rapid fire questions. But my first question is, I guess everybody needs it, but how would they know about it? So that's the first thing. I knew about it because I have my connections, but other small businesses, they may not know about it. My second question is, if they don't know about it, how is that going to impact their sending? Like my accountant, my client. She's got like 200-300 people on her list. She would know nothing about this, nothing about it. And then if she, let's say one of her accountant friends said, hey, you know what? Like there's this thing happening. You should check your email. And her head is spinning. She doesn't know anything about SPF, DKIM, DMARC, none of that shit. As an accountant, she probably isn't even going to know how to do that. So do I have to get a tech person to do it? How involved is it? And then lastly, I'll say when I started my MailChimp, it asked for those authentications and I didn't know what the hell to do. So I just gave it to my tech guy to do it. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Like, if you don't know about it, how is it going to, I mean, if you don't know about it, how bad is it going to be? Like, is all my email, not my email, but if you don't know about it and you don't make these changes, is all your shit going to go to spam? And then let's say you do find out about it, you're all intimidated by these words. How difficult is it for you to set up this SPF or this DKIM or this DMARC by yourself? And if you can't do it, do you have to get a tech person? You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to help the small business owner that has like an email list and now they're like WTF basically.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So I'm going to start with a sentence and like with a number, and people have to continue listening after I say the number. So one of the things that they say in the Google and the Yahoo thing is that the people that they're trying to go after to, these rules are going to apply to are like large senders. And I mean, not like if I have a personal inbox and I'm sending to you, they mean like large senders, like you said, customers that have other customers, right? Or your customers that may have customers, or brands that have customers that are getting emailed. The number that they put in the art in their blog or whatever on Google was anybody who sends about 5,000 emails or more a day.
Oh,
Now, don't stop now listening to the video.
oh, right,
If
yeah.
you have a list of 20,000 people,
Yeah.
don't cut it in like sections of 4,000 so you remain under. Google is $1 billion business. Okay, they're smarter than that. And if you send once a month, that counts as well. What they're looking after is big volume senders, people that can annoy enough people. Okay,
5,000 or so.
5,000 in one day. So if at any point you've sent 5,000 emails or 4,000, I mean, they're not going to be like, oh, you want to run a PayPal scam? Just send less than 5,000 a day. Like, okay, there's like, it's not if you don't send 5,000, you shouldn't care about these things, because these things were important before anyways, and that was to everyone. They're just kind of trying to tell like it's not for inbox users, right? It's for people who are using external tools. And it's the same thing. Like if I use the bank things, like, okay, people think that they shouldn't have big credit card limits. The credit card limit should be as big as it could possibly be. Your debt on those credit limits needs to be less than 66%. That's the rule. It's not that if you have less, the logic part is if I have a smaller credit card limit, then I will spend less. Therefore, I will have less problems with my credit score. True, but that's because of the organic nature of it. It's not because you have a credit card of 500 instead of 10,000 that your credit score is better, right? The same thing here. So it's not because the limit is, it's not a limit. It just says 5,000 emails on a daily basis, in a day. So it's not daily basis, right? They're not going only for the Amazons. They're going for the person who has a business for 5 years and is sending a couple thousand emails. So
yeah, I have like 8,500 people on my email list.
85?
Mm-hmm.
Are you sending constantly?
I send at least once a week, but sometimes twice a week. If there's a promo, I'll email them like more often.
So the main difference between like a tiny sender, which would at this point be tiny, right? You can these people personally almost, right? I assume, is that it takes a lot, it takes data to make these decisions. All of this is based on how people are interacting and what they're doing. And the smaller the number, the larger the percentage cuts, right? So if I'm sending to 100 people and 10 people open, my open rate and engagement rate is 10%. If I send to 10 people, it's 100, right? So because the numbers are small, these percentages and engagements really can go up and down just because it's just normal, 3 out of 10 or 4 out of 10 makes a really big difference between a 30% open rate and 40%. Mm-hmm. So it takes longer for Gmail, Yahoo, and iCloud to understand what people want and what you're doing with these emails. And that's where you get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. And it's just because they don't have enough data to make a decision. But if they do have data, like 2 years ago, you bought a list, let's say, and you sent to 10,000 people and they all complained, and now you're back to 85 emails because, it was not worth it because you got blocked. They're going to keep an eye out the moment your volume starts going up. They don't forget. You think the bank forgets that your credit was bad or you didn't pay 10 years ago? They remember. Google has all these data centers. Okay. They remember. So the difference is that the more for them, 5,000 is like the number, I guess, that makes sense in terms of data points. Somebody who has 5,000 emails and sends once a year, what reputation? You don't have any, you know what I mean? There's none, there's not enough data. So that's why small senders still need to be attentive. And there is the other thing as well is that the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. So SPF proves which tools are allowed to send with your domain. You use an invoicing tool and the invoice comes from something at MappMail.com, right? Mm-hmm. That needs to be authenticated. You're not the owner of the Stripe or like PayPal or whatever system you're using, FreshBooks, to send out that invoice. FreshBooks is sending out that email on your behalf with your ID. So the SPF just tells the inbox that's receiving the email, yeah, she is using FreshBooks or she is using Stripe.
Okay, DKIM, and that was SPF, did you say?
Yeah, sender, yeah, SPF.
And what's it stand for? Sender what?
Policy framework.
Okay, so that's basically, if I can just recap. So if an email is coming from me, but from QuickBooks or PayPal, it's basically
MailChimp,
Yeah. Okay. So I get it.
Yeah. So you're just saying that it's okay. I use these tools. So as you can see on its own, it's not like really foolproof, because if, let's say you allow MailChimp, you tell Google and Yahoo and all your subscribers that, yeah, I use MailChimp. So MailChimp, if it's coming from MailChimp, we're good. What if I work at MailChimp? I can pretend to be these customers, right? Because I'm going to be sending from the same place you've allowed to send emails from. So that's not enough. So
Okay.
then comes DKIM, which has two purposes. Domain key identified mail. So this has like two purposes. The first purpose is to make sure that you own the domain. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
And that you're sending the email. You say, it's me. I'm sending the email through MailChimp or Stripe or whatever. But it's me. I had to make this change in my DNS. It's me, and it can only be me. And the way it works, which is the second point, it's like those keys that you have at the bank when you have a, what do you call it? Like the locker. Oh my God, I'm looking for the thing.
Deposit boxes.
Yes, thank you. A deposit box. So you have a key, the other lady has a key, or I don't know what has to be a lady, but the person at the bank has a key, and it takes both keys to make sure that, yes, this is yours. So it's the same thing. There's a key that's like hidden inside your DNS. It's private. And then when the email is sent out, Google can connect and say, okay, it's the same key. The other thing it does, which is really cool and connected to those 2 points, is that people don't know this, but emails can be intercepted on the way. I can send an email from MailChimp, and we can stop it, change the content, and let it go.
Who's the we?
Evil people. Yeah, people. We can stop any, like, you can stop an email because it passes through computers. If you take an email, so this is the cool geeky stuff. If you take an email and you click on, like, if you're in Gmail, that's the easiest way. That's the one I know by heart. You click on the 3 dots on the. You open an email you like I don't know, from anyone, any brand. Click on the 3 dots. And there's an option called show original, and then it opens a page, and it tells you at the top, by the way, if you have if the email that you receive has SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. So it helps you, for example, if you don't know if an email is a scam or not, really good way, not 100% foolproof, as you can know, because we can do crazy things if you know a lot about email, but it, like 99.9% of the time, if it has SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, and it's not coming from like a Russian IP, it's coming from something that makes sense because it's written out for you, then you can say, okay, this is PayPal, right? Or this is the bank. And then everything under looks like a lot of mumbo jumbo because it's just like put together in a small font. But if you like take the time to like read it with your eyes slowly, there's a lot of information. One of the things that there is in every email, because there's a receipt that we don't see. That's what that show original is doing. It shows you where it passed through to arrive to your particular inbox. Everything technological has an IP address. Your computer, your cell phone, your inbox, right? Websites, domains, and all that jazz. So it passed through all these places. So you can see where it passed from, which makes it like, and that's why you want the DKIM to make sure it hasn't been intercepted, because if it's been intercepted and changed, the key is broken. Google cannot resolve it. And will say DKIM key broke, which means that it went, and yeah, I sent it, but it arrived wrong. And Google can like stop it from entering the inbox. I mean, I won't be notified, but the only way to be notified is to have the third version of authentication, DMARC. That's the purpose of DMARC. So SPF and DKIM are proving that it's you that sent the email. That's the whole point. And DMARC is like a bouncer at a club. So you, in your DMARC, you put a rule. So instead of just grabbing what MailChimp and like MappMail gives you, you decide how your DMARC works. And that's where it looks like super complicated, but it's not, okay? One part of the DMARC says, what do you want us to do with emails that are not authenticated, right? So to do DMARC, you have to have SPF and DKIM because, that's the whole point, the bouncer. So you tell the bouncer, if you receive an email that has SPF passing and the DKIM is passing or not, I don't really care, let it in.
Okay.
That's what DMARC does. And then you can say, or the other way around, I just want my DKIM, or it needs to be both. If it doesn't pass DKIM and SPF, stop it.